Good morning, folks. Listen, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell. The channel is growing. We're almost at 5,000. I know it seems like very slow going, but I have high hopes that I'm going to get and have the best viewers and subs on YouTube. So let's keep going, guys. Hit the subscribe button and listen till the very end, okay? One of the best ways you can support this channel. Now, this today is going to be about Leilani, obviously, about Quinton-Simon. Not Leilani, Quinton. But this is statements that have been made and my point of view about those statements. So, let's get on with it. First of all, we have, this statement came from Voices Behind the Wall, a live stream that she done the other day, and it was when they had Leilani's brother Michael on there, and this was a statement he read for Leilani. It says, just so everyone knows, the FBI are the ones telling me I don't remember. This never came from me, but if they are somehow correct, I will turn myself in. I will take responsibility without a fight, without running, and without hiding. Again, I don't believe it's true, but if it is, I will turn myself in. Okay, well, my opinion about that, and I'm going to try to think slowly, guys, so that I can say this correctly and not just ramble on. She says the FBI is the one that's telling her that she don't remember. I'm not positive. I'm not an FBI agent. I'm not an expert in any kind of field like that. But I'm almost positive the FBI they never give excuses to suspects. They do not feed them information that they can use as a defense. So in my opinion, I'm not saying, I'm not too sure this actually took place, okay? And on top of that, she says, this never came from me, but if they are somehow correct, I will turn myself in. I will take responsibility without a fight, without running, without hiding. And again, I don't believe it's true. Well, let me say this. In my opinion, as a mother, as an adult, if I have done something, I remember if I've done it. I also will remember if I didn't do it. I mean, if somebody walks in and says, hey, did you move my jacket from the back of the couch? Where did you put it? Well, if I didn't move that jacket, then I remember, hey, I never touched it. So I will say, I didn't touch it, so I didn't move it. It must have been someone else or yourself. If I've forgotten about it, then it wouldn't be a discussion to start with. You would still say, I didn't do it. I didn't touch it, because you don't remember it. But you're not going to have somebody come in and say, hey, you don't remember moving that jacket, okay? You did it, but you don't remember it. Just a little rant there, guys. I'm just saying, if she don't remember it, then it wouldn't even be up for discussion. It wouldn't. She would be saying, I did not do this. Not, if I did it, if they prove I did it, then I'll turn myself in. No, if you don't remember it or you didn't do it, then you would be making that statement plain and clear. Now, on the other hand, like I have said from the get-go, I have questions about the boyfriend. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying Leilani is innocent. By no means. I'm just making the statement that Danny, who happens to have been the one originally that texted the babysitter at 5:29 saying they didn't need a babysitter, who saw Quinton last at 6 a.m., who was seen driving slowly through the neighborhood, who was supposedly late for work, who then mysteriously is at the house when the babysitter goes down there to help them look for the baby. Well, was he at work or wasn't he? What caused him to go ahead and come back home? Where was he at that morning? I mean, can he account for every minute that he was gone, for every minute that he was not in sight of someone else? And not only that, but how can you be in the house, whether it be Leilani or Danny, how can you be in a house with another adult and 3 children and something major happen and you have no clue about it? Sort of makes you wonder. Let's go through the rundown of the timeline, okay? This is the supposed timeline. It says, and this was still on from Shares Live. It says, through questions, she was asked, and this is the timeline. At 1:45 was the last time she saw him, and he was okay. When she went to bed, she saw him in the pack and play. Okay. 2:40 a.m. to 5:44 a.m., the back door was open. How does she know that? Oh, it says the brother got the notification. ADT security system. Well, isn't that just interesting? At 5:29, Danny texted the babysitter and said that she didn't need to watch the kids. Danny tried to wake up Leilani before work, but when he shook her, she wouldn't wake up. Okay, go back to the 2:40 to 5:44 a.m. Back door was open. That has no bearing on anything, obviously. If Danny saw the baby that morning, I mean, he called the babysitter and said, hey, we don't need a babysitter at 5:29, and then says he saw the baby at 6 a.m. before he left to go to work, then this back door being open has no relevance on the case, correct? I mean, Danny swears that he texted the babysitter, and he swears he saw the baby at 6 a.m. Okay, Danny was late for work that day. From what I hear, he was 15 minutes late. It says 8:20 a.m. Babysitter claims she saw Danny driving by really slow. Well, what time did he leave to go to work? If he saw Quinton at 6 a.m. in the pack and play, and he tried to wake the mom up, but then he didn't leave to go to work till 8:20, what was he doing? Where was the baby at? Where was Quinton? Where were the other kids between 6 a.m. and 8:20? That's 2 hours and 20 minutes. You're telling me he never laid eyes on Quinton for 2 hours and 20 minutes being in the same house with that child? 9 a.m. Leilani woke up, wasn't expecting kids to be there. She thought the babysitter took Quinton because she sometimes would come in the AM to get him. Now, I've got questions about that, folks. Why? Seriously, she babysits all 3 of these kids pretty much every day, correct? Why would the babysitter come in while everybody's asleep or gone, whatever, and take one child out of the house and leave with him? That makes no sense. None whatsoever. I'm sure law enforcement is smart enough to realize that. But I've not heard anybody say anything about that. It's like nobody thinks that's unusual. That a babysitter would come in. She normally babysits all three kids, but that day she just picks up one kid and walks out with it and doesn't tell anybody that she even took the kid. Something ain't right in Denmark, guys. I'm telling you. 9:13 to 9:17 a.m. Call to the babysitter from Leilani on Danny's phone. Wait a minute. Thought he was at work. He just left for work, what? And not even an hour before then. He left for work at 8:20. And he was 15 minutes late for work. And now he's already back at the house. Babysitter shows up to Leilani's house at 9:45, and at approximately 911 call was made. Okay, but according to the babysitter, she actually had to make Danny, the boyfriend, and Leilani call 911. So again, Danny is the one that texted her and told her they didn't need a babysitter. Danny is the one that saw the baby at 6 a.m. Danny is driving slowly through the neighborhood at 8:20 on his way to work, where he has not seen the kids for almost 2.5 hours, and him being in the same house with them. He leaves for work. He's late for work, but yet not even an hour later, he's back at home. Something's not right. I'm telling y'all. And everybody can say, oh, it's just Leilani, simply because Ellie is saying that she's the prime suspect. Well, let me tell you guys, sometimes law enforcement makes mistakes. Sometimes they don't do their due diligence, okay? I'm not saying that's the case here, but I am saying sometimes they get it wrong. And Lord, I hate to even bring this up, but look at Hawkins County. They tell me they haven't gotten it wrong. They haven't done anything. Oh, look at the Callie Rodney case. They got it wrong. So you're telling me that there's no possible way that this law enforcement could be getting it wrong by just naming Leilani as a prime suspect. I believe Danny should be right there. If, in my opinion, I believe Danny done something and Leilani is helping him cover it up. That's been my thought from the beginning. And if you watch my other videos, you will see that. And don't even get me started on Grandma. Billie Jo, how plain and simple. These children were placed in her custody, in her care, and she did not provide safe home for these children. If she had, she wouldn't have been crawling her butt in that vehicle, driving to a completely different state and leaving those children for anybody to take care of. If she was a good parent and a good mother and a good grandmother, if she had to go out of town to work, those children were small enough she could have loaded them up, took them with her, and hired a babysitter wherever she was at. If she couldn't do that, then she should have found a job that was closer to home so that she could take. She is the one that voluntarily went in there and said, yes, I'll take these kids. I want these kids. I'll take care of them and love them and give them a safe home. She should have stepped up to the plate instead of just, oh, well, here, they're your kids. You take care of them. I've got to go work. But yet I have all control over them. Oh, wait, she didn't do that, did she? Because she had just filed an eviction notice against her own child, the child's boyfriend, and get this, all three of the grandkids. The newborn that they had just had, and the two kids that she had custody of, she was trying to evict out of her own home. Tell me that's a grandmother who wanted custody so that she could care for these grandchildren. She's then, right after getting custody, she's trying to evict them out of the home. Just infuriates me, guys. It really infuriates me that a grandmother could be like that, could be so uncaring, so irresponsible, and no matter who is at fault for Quinton, whether it be Leilani or Danny. Billie Jo, how needs to be in more trouble than what she's in. Let's see what it says right here. She was found by Child Protective Services in Chatham County, Georgia, to have failed to provide adequate supervision. That's it. That's all Child Protective Services has to say about it. It just infuriates me, guys. And as of today, as of right now, it says authorities have not yet revealed what kind of evidence they have against her, and says they want to ensure they have watertight evidence before they arrest or charge her in order to secure a conviction. Now, we do know that part of their evidence they found was a CC camera at a local little gas station or something, and where they're seeing her throwing something in the dipsty dumpster. Other than the CC camera where they see her going to the dumpster, the only other evidence they say they have is phone data from the cell phones, and we don't know what that is yet. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, Danny, the boyfriend, has way more to do with this than what anybody is thinking. And I have thought that from the beginning. I'm just saying. So prayers for all these kids, prayers for this case, prayers that little Quinton is found, brought home, and laid to rest. And I'll see you on the next video, guys.